and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ooh. Okay, we'll move on to item 2, recognition of visitors. We have Michael Robinson on the topic of the fence. Is that you? You can go ahead and address the board. Normally it's 5 minutes on the topic. And
okay. My name is Michael Robinson. I am the property owner just near the student parking here. My property butts up right with the parking lot. We've lived there now for 5 years. It's probably never been an issue before we moved there because the old fellow who lived there before, the hill was all grown up. And probably if anybody drove through there, you wouldn't have noticed anyways. We bought the house, they had to put a new septic system in. The old septic was in the front yard, the new septic is in the backyard. We've been having issues really since we moved in. I apologize if
we missed each other. Okay.
You inherited this. I talked to Andy Hill, I talked to Matt Montgomery. Now, 5 years, 3 superintendents later, I finally decided to come to a board meeting. Probably within the last month alone, we've had at least 3 vehicles that have come up over the hill into the yard. This is a major issue come football games. It's a major issue come graduation, and also sometimes for basketball games. It's a concern for me because our septic system is back there. I have 2 young children. Our dog is on a run back there. I have put up a snow fence on nights of home football games, but it's really just a hassle. I'd like to see some kind of a fence, if it be possible. It is quite a lengthy line. A couple years back, you guys put the chain up here on the practice soccer field, which only helped intensify the parking problem in my yard. I don't know how much that cost, but some kind of a barrier. I'm sure you guys haven't had a problem with parking in the practice soccer field. People see the barrier there, and I haven't seen anybody go across it except for soccer players. So that's my concern. Like I said before, probably was never an issue because it was a hay field. Now I cut it. Now I have a septic system back there, and it seems to be the cool thing. That's where all the trucks park. They like to back up on the back of that hill and do spin outs. You can see the ruts there. And if you like, I don't get off usually until 6 o'clock, or I would have taken pictures of the past 3. There's an elementary school teacher, Mrs. Clingsmith. Our first year there, her son actually came out and fixed part of our yard where I actually had caught him turfing back there. She was very kind to talk to me and make sure he repaired what he needed to. So that is my issue that I want to bring before the board, and hopefully we can come up with a solution to rectify it.
Okay. Mr. Robinson actually called me. I'm sorry, it's been very busy, but it was my intention. I usually am good about getting right back to people, but I will call you and we'll talk about it. We'll see if we can figure something out. Okay? Hopefully. Okay, so I'll be in touch. Okay. Thanks for coming in.
No, it's just important that we're good neighbors. So, you know, I appreciate you coming in tonight and letting us know, and we'll follow up with that.
And I'm a good neighbor too. I see a lot of cars coming and going. I see a lot of cars sitting around, and my wife thinks I'm paranoid because I'm constantly looking out the window. You know, it's, oh, who's that?
Well, and that helps. I mean, because, you know, security, they can't, you know, the sheriff's department can't be everywhere. So we appreciate that, that neighborly kind of eye to watch out for our facilities. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Brayman will definitely get on it and get you answers. Move on to recognition of students and pride cards. Oh, is Miss Sandell not here? Our pride cards, because Mr. Pusateri is not here, if you could leave them so he can sign them, and we will get them to the teachers to give back.
Okay. The kids get a certificate, so the board president signs that, and as soon as Mr. Pusateri is able to sign them, we'll give them to the students. So I'll just read. You guys can go around and shake the board members' hands, starting with our treasurer, Mr. Carpenter, and ending with our superintendent, Mr. Brayman. Yeah, and if you guys want a picture, I'm going to set them. I'll tell you what I can do. I can set them over here, and if you want a picture, you can get a picture, and then we'll get the board president's signature on it. I see a few of our students here. Carly Kisner in kindergarten. I don't see Carly here. Carly got this pride card from Mrs. Chandrick. Carly was very caring, seeing another child with crutches trying to leave the office. She grabbed the door and held it until the other child was completely through. So that was Carly Kisner, our kindergarten pride card winner. Luke Schooling was our first grade winner. I don't see Luke. Another student was having a difficult time completing a paper. Luke decided by himself to help her. Way to be a good student, Luke. And that was from Mrs. Sullivan. Joseph Finney, our second grade pride card winner. This one's from Mrs. Porosky. Joe has been working very hard after school tutoring for several weeks now, and his reading and spelling have shown great improvement. Keep it up, Joe. And I'd like to give Ms. Porosky a shout out about that too. She's been staying after working with Joe, and they've been doing some very impressive things together. So here he is right now. There's Joe. Joe, come on up here. You want to say? But Joe's an awesome student. All these people want to shake your hand, Joe, because of all the great work you're doing. You can start with Mr. Carpenter. Nice work.
Thank you. Good job. Congratulations.
So yeah, Joe's been putting in the time. He is great. All right, our third grade winner who I see is here, Miss Alexis Eddy. This one's from Mrs. Besaw. Alexis helped out our new student, Nick, get organized and into our routine today. She helped him understand his language assignment and stayed with him until he felt confident in completing his work. Thank you, Alexis. She's like having another teacher in the room.
Good job. Thank you. Awesome job. Thank you. Good job.
You know, she looked at everybody and
Yeah.
She had a strong
she's not as shy as you are.
Next is Allie Miller in fourth grade. This is from Mrs. Stefik. Allie is a great example of what a good citizen looks like. Responsible, respectful, and hardworking. You rock. I don't think Allie's here. And finally, this young man, he's one of our fifth graders. He's going to be leaving us to go to the Big Bad Middle School here soon. But Colin Hawley, this is from Mr. Hamilton. This young man is always thinking. He goes above and beyond the average worker. He enjoys school and learns to have fun. Great job. And I can say myself, I've been in his class recently and I've seen him working in a group setting, and he was a group leader, keeping the rest of the group on task and really going above and beyond, like Mr. Hamilton said. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good job.
Okay, our sixth grade prime card winner is Rachel Dickey this is a card from Mrs. Ritz. It says, thanks so much to Rachel for her book donations. I appreciate her thoughtfulness. So good job, Rachel. Come on around and shake our hands here.
Good job.
then in 7th grade, a card from Mrs. Barkhurst for Amelia Summers. Come on up, Amelia. Amelia has such a great attitude and is so very pleasant to be around. She takes advantage of revising her papers and extra time to make her writing even better. She has shared a draft of the book she is writing. Sweet. At our last book club meeting, I am very proud of her and the extra work she was doing. Nice job, Amelia. Good job. Yeah, I can. Okay, and finally, a pride card from Ms. Warner for Brianna Mann, but I don't see Brianna here. She's in 8th grade, and I'm going to try to, some of these words I can't read. I love your spirit and determination. Keep participating in class. I love to hear your thoughts. You are a great student who works hard to get all of her homework done. Nice job, with a smiley face. So give Brianna a round of applause. And then Mrs. Sandell, our high school principal, could not be here with us this evening, so we're going to read through hers as well. For a 9th grade student, this is from Mrs. Allen. The student is Ethan Miller. It says, Ethan does a fabulous job each and every time we go down to 1st grade for our mentor reading program. So that's for Ethan. In 10th grade from Mrs. Savada, this student is Opal King. The card says, Opal is always willing to assist me or her peers. She has a great work ethic and sets a good example for those around her. And then also from Mrs. Savada in grade 11, this student is Callie Hartline. It says, Callie is always willing to help out whenever, sharing her notes when others are out, helping with various tasks in my classroom during study hall, or when others need assistance in understanding class material. She is also very pleasant and polite, greatly appreciated. And then finally, our 12th grader is Haley Evans. This is also from Mrs. Savada. It says, during AO, Haley has demonstrated a positive work ethic and out-of-the-box study strategies that make her a role model for other students. Great job. We should bring Hallie down to the middle school to work on those, because I don't know what those out-of-the-box study strategies are, but I'm very interested to find out. So anyways, I'm going to look her up. But give those guys a round of applause.
Thank you.
Gonna let him go before roll call.
Yes, I am. Before we start the regular meeting, if you guys that came for the pride cards want to leave, you can go ahead and step out now. We won't hold it against you.
I'll be in touch. All right, thank you.
Hey, I'm fine with that. You wait for your leave or go ahead and...
You can go ahead.
All right, we're going to go ahead and call to order the Waterloo Board regular meeting. Roll call, please.
Mr. Terry, Brock,
Here.
Fletcher,
Here.
Whittlesey, Gump.
Here.
I almost answered for you.
Not used to this out of call.
Yeah.
We'll move on to item 4, the Waterloo, to adopt the, can I get motion to accept the agenda for March regular meeting?
So moved.
Second.
President's report. I do not have anything. I wasn't expecting to take on Brian's, and what I do have, you're hitting on, so I'll not hit on it myself.
Before we start, we need to do the roll call.
Oh, again?
Oh, roll call from the motion.
Oh, that's right. Can I get a roll call?
Fletcher,
Yes.
Gump,
Yes.
Brock.
Yes. Now, President's report. Same thing.
Ditto.
We'll move on to item 6, the superintendent's report.
Couple things to go over here very quickly. First, I wanted to say thanks to Jeff Swanson for taking pictures at our board meeting last month. I think they came out. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at them, but they look pretty sharp. He did a nice job with that. I want to thank him. Also, school-wise, solo and ensemble results from Saturday, February 13th, while the students performed very well and scored high. Anna Hilton had scored a 1, which is a superior rating. Ryan Kovacic had a 1, also superior rating. Katie Weaver scored a 2, which was an excellent rating. They were very pleased with how our kids did that, so congrats to them. The next thing, I can't forget this, the athletic boosters reverse raffle, Saturday, March 19th. That's going to be a great evening and a good way to support the athletic programs. Also a special congratulations to Will Bolins, our state champion in wrestling, which is an amazing feat. I also wanted to give a shout out to Dylan Stallsmith, who made it down there as well. Both those guys did an outstanding job. Will was lucky enough to and skilled enough to win the state title, but to even make it down to Columbus is for any athlete, you know how difficult that is, and for those who make it, that speaks very well of them and their effort and their work. I also want to say congrats to Coach Brian Munger. He's a very, very proud coach of those two young men. So well done all the way around. Last thing, very quickly, our district report card update. Recently, we came out with report cards, and I'm torn about. On one side of me, I do want to make a big deal out of this. The other side of me, I want to minimize parts of this. As you guys know, that Spark testing was thrown out by the state. Those results really are meaningless, and yet the state felt compelled to still give us a grade for the work we did on tests that they feel that are no longer worth giving. As a final result, our grade card is not as strong as it's been the last few years. We had 3 Fs on our grade card, and all had to do with value add, and a lot of it had to do with special ed. So what I did, I met with our administrative team, met with our special ed director, met with the principals, and we sat down and I talked to each one of them about having their own kind of assignment, if you will, and just to pick it apart and find out where, not necessarily where we went wrong. The rest of the report card, we scored C's and B's, but that one section, that value-added section, was pretty tough. Pretty tough for all schools in the state. I'm not going to say that we were the only ones that did not do well. The vast majority of the schools in the state did not do well this year. Everyone took a significant hit. We were no different than everyone else. But that being said, I don't want to say, oh, let's not pay attention to it. We're trying to take a look at it and see if we can grow from that, become better, use it as a launching pad to see some improvements. And I was pretty pleased with our meeting. I walked away thinking that we are in a good spot. This time next year, I think we'll be looking at a grade card that is dramatically improved, and just from the efforts of not just our administrators, but from the hard work of our teachers. They seem pretty committed. Just talking to a lot of them since the report card came out, they seem pretty determined to see improvements made, and I'm happy with that. And I think we've got the students that can get that done. So my feeling is a year from now, when we implement some of these strategies, we'll see dramatic improvement. Okay? And that is all I have. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I myself looked up all the, because I was shocked at ours. I thought, wow, we're pretty low. You know, but I looked at the rest of Portage County, and they were just as, I mean, it was the same.
There were a lot of schools struggled, and we did lower in some things, but did better in other areas. It's been a very frustrating year. And even the timing of the results coming out of the slate, typically we get the results from state tests far earlier. We usually plan for state and schools based on those things, but it just coming out is kind of throwing everything out of whack, and then knowing that they took the test and threw Park out, we're actually going to be using AIR testing, AIR, capital A, capital R. I don't know that it'll be any easier, but from what I'm hearing, the testing time won't be as long, and I think that's a benefit to all students across the state. But I still think it'll be a challenge. I mean, like I say, it's going to be a walk in the park.
And I read the results also through the paper, and you know, the frustration from my standpoint is that there's a lot of apprehension in the community. You hear the politicians say, you know, this should be a local board initiative. And the reality of it is this is coming right out of Columbus. And until Columbus gets their stuff together and they show consistency and they show a determination to standardize or solidify those tests and results and give us appropriate time to you know, be comfortable in those results without changing something every year. To me, it falls right back to the State Board of Education, and I think it really was a slap in the face to boards throughout Ohio, in school districts throughout Ohio. I was not happy, and I'm going to say the blame lays where it is, and that's down in Columbus. And those people are getting paid a lot of money to make snap judgments and initiate things that weren't well thought out or well coordinated at the local level. And, you know, I don't know how much influence we can have to that, but at least I get my 20 minutes of fame on YouTube to say that I think it's a bunch of bull.
Not to mention the
So-
time and effort our teachers and administration
Absolutely.
put, and then the next year it changes, and they got to recalculate, rethink, and now we're back
Yeah,
to,
it's been very frustrating.
Yep.
But we're trying to find some things you can take from it and make us better. You know, are there things where, you know, where can we improve? And, you know, we're not, like I said, we're not throwing it totally out the window. We're going to look at it and try to learn from it.
And there has to be accountability and be able to document your results, and we appreciate that. And we want to strive for that. But the inconsistency from year to year is frustrating, not only to our teaching professionals and from our local administration that puts so much time and effort into jumping through one hoop just to have it switched, and then you have to refocus and work with a different set of parameters, so it never gives you an opportunity to catch up and actually succeed or move in a positive direction without having to refocus. And I think it's demoralizing and it's frustrating from our standpoint.
any comments? No?
That's it.
All right, we'll move on to item 7, the treasurer's report.
Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about the bond refunding. As you recall, back in December, the board passed a resolution to refund the remaining portion of our bonds. The remaining portion of our bonds was right around $5.7 million. We did go to market last Tuesday. We had a very good bond refunding. With that refunding, we realized a savings on interest of over $500,000 between now and the end of the bond issue, which runs through December 1st of 2024. So we anticipated about that much in savings, and we hit our target. I just want to point out, though, that we did a bond refunding back in February of 2006, and at that time we saved $509,000 from that bond refinancing, and then with this one, $517,000. So that was a total of $1,026,000 that is a pure savings to the taxpayers of the district. Now that savings doesn't affect the 5-year forecast. It doesn't go into our operating budget. But what it does is it's that much less money that the county auditor is going to be collecting from the residents to pay back the interest on our bonds. That's all. Here was the official statement that was put together by various parties, including the district, and this is the document that investors would have been previewing in making their determination to buy Waterloo school bonds. That's all.
Any thoughts or comments? I never second guessed what Todd has to say.
Thank you again.
Thank you. We'll go on to student liaison report.
Okay. I have kind of a hefty report today, actually.
We're going to limit you to 5 minutes. No.
I'll start with the senior class. They successfully claimed back-to-back titles in winning the coveted Spirit Games, as well as the overall Spirit Week. And Jostens will be here on March 29th, so after spring break, I think, to pass out caps and gowns, which is sad and exciting all at the same time. The class will also make their annual trek to Hiram College on April 19th for the None for Under 21 program. The junior class is still busy planning prom, which will be held at St. Nicholas Hall in Suffield on May 7th. The sophomore class is sponsoring a staff-student basketball game, which will be held next Friday afternoon. Spirit Week, just overall, seniors won with a point total of 70, freshmen were second, and juniors and sophomores tied for third. National Honor Society is having a Daffins chocolate sale, and each member has a box of 50 candy bars, and they're each $1 a piece. Quiz Bowl just finished their season. Junior varsity placed as one of 2 schools in our division, and they placed in the top 4 schools at the Portage County Annual Tournament. Nash Benton was one of the top 10 JV scorers in the county. Varsity placed as one of the top 3 schools in our division, and they placed 7th at the Portage County Annual Tournament. And Doug Beans was one of the top 6 varsity scorers in the county. Teens of the month are Rebecca Keener. She is very motivated in all of her activities throughout Waterloo High School. She has a 3.95 GPA and is on the honor roll. Rebecca is the Student Council Secretary and Vice President of National Honor Society. Rebecca has participated in competitive gymnastics for 10 years. She also volunteers at her church's summer camp to teach children entering kindergarten through 5th grade. Rebecca plans to attend Kent State University and study exercise physiology as well as biochemistry. Jacob Thompson is very active in sports and the arts throughout Waterloo High School. He has a 3.6 GPA and is on the honor roll. Jacob participates in marching and symphonic band, choir, and drama. He also plays soccer and runs in track. Jacob has received letters in band and soccer and soon will for his participation in choir. He is most proud of gaining the title of Eagle Scout within his community. Jacob will attend Kent State University to obtain a bachelor degree in computer information technology. And as for the blood drive, the next blood drive will be held on April 21st here in the Media Center. The cafeteria, Barb Rock gave me information to talk about. This past week, March 7th through 11th, is National Breakfast Week, which I gave each of you a little flyer that she handed out. Food service will be giving away gifts to any students that gets a complete breakfast. Items were donated by Ryder Dairy and include things such as bags, towels, keychains, hairbands, mustache stickers, pins, cups, and paper. And the same promotion was used last year, and it helped increase the number of students coming to breakfast and buying a breakfast, and they're hoping for the same outcome this year. Pep Club has found a new home. They moved from the cafeteria to the art room, and they are busy preparing signs for the wrestling pep rally on Monday, and are getting ready for baseball, softball, and track. And it's just important to point out that members of Pep Club literally eat, sleep, and breathe school spirit. There aren't any more qualified, dedicated people to do the job that they have been doing, and they truly care and want others to be excited for the upcoming sports. Ski Club, their last trip to Brandywine was February 22nd, and Mr. Wiles says they had a great year. The weather worked out well, and many students improved their skiing and snowboarding ability from their first trip. Many of the beginners at the start of the season are now at an intermediate level, and Mr. Wiles said they had a great time and enjoyed pizza as a group before their last trip. He also recommends this club to any 6th through 12th grade student who wants a way to enjoy Ohio's wacky winters. Baseball, Coach Dockery said they are in week 3 of practice so far, and participation numbers are up. There are 23 players, and there will be both a JV and a varsity team this year. They will host their 4th annual youth baseball camp this Saturday, and they will open the season with their first game on March 28th. Softball is also practicing hard with about 30 players, and their first game will be on March 29th. The boys and girls track teams are working hard to prepare for the upcoming season, and the numbers on both teams are up compared to last year. And both teams have over 20 members and will get underway on March 30th. And this one's exciting, it's the wrestling. The state tournament was held at the Jerome Schottenstein Center this past weekend, and Bill Bolans defeated all of the competition on Thursday and Friday, including a 4-2 victory over undefeated Jordan Leisure from Amanda Clear Creek in the championship semifinal. And on Saturday, Bill ended his season with a 3-2 victory over Dalton Hoover from Martins Ferry, and he became our 3rd state champion for wrestling in school history, and he finished his season with a 52 record and was also the sectional and district champion. Dylan Stallsmith also attended the state tournament but did not place. The band, they just went to an adjudicated event, and they got a rating of 2, which stands for excellent. It's the second highest rating in a 5-tier system. They received a 1, a 2, and a 2 from the judges in the room, and a 2 from the sight reading judge. The sight reading judge told them they just needed more confidence to play what they already knew, but they already have a great band sound. Since 35 out of 48 students in the band are 8th to 10th graders, Mrs. Atkins says she knows that they will gain the confidence that they need for next year. And she says this makes her very excited for the future. Mrs. Atkins says, I am proud of their growth in the past year. We had Mr. Ferguson, band director at Firestone, and Mr. Harkar, retired Waterloo band director, out to work with the students to prepare. Both commended the students on working hard and improving since last school year. And the high school band has been invited to play at the spring concert at Kent State University on March 29th at 7:30 p.m. in Cartwright Auditorium. This is a partnership concert with their concert band. And Mrs. Atkins says this is a great honor and says they are very excited to perform. Mrs. Atkins is a Kent State alumni. Choir, they went to solo and ensemble competition, but Mr. Brayman already covered the scores for that. There will be a choir concert held next Wednesday on March 16th at 7 p.m. in the middle school cafeteria, and contest participants will be performing their solos that night. This is new. It's the cafe that we started here in the media center. It's called La Vida Mocha, and it's officially open and is being operated during lunch. Mr. Armentrout made the chalkboard sign over there, and Junior Shelby LeBeau did the artwork on the chalkboard. Mrs. Savada made the curtains here so Mrs. White wouldn't be disturbed by the kids. We also would like to publicly thank Lisa Gumpf for donating coffee and coffee mugs. And right now the cafe is still just a pilot, and we are still looking for ways of enhancing it so more students gain interest. I know right now they're only serving coffee during lunch, so that's not quite a big hit with the kids because they'd rather have coffee in the morning. So they're trying to work something out to where that can happen. And last night I spoke with Mrs. Sandell, and she just wants to let you know that she has sent out a letter to the entire student body regarding like test scores and major upcoming dates. That's all I have for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Diane's not here to give us a Maplewood update, but she did email us. She said, I didn't get it. Did you?
I didn't get it either.
Okay, well, so we don't have a Maplewood update. How about legislative report?
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I got
It's your
nothing.
first time to shine.
I know.
You have the principal's update there.
Do you have anything? Oh, yeah, we forgot the principal's update. Heck.
You
We'll
know
go ahead and start with you guys.
How about if I'll do the high school real fast. I think
Okay.
Of all the dates and things that Tori covered, there's a couple still left. So, our testing dates, air testing, I mentioned that earlier. It's going to be the week of April 12th through April 15th.
Ooh.
That is significantly shorter time than what we saw last year in the second semester. I felt like we were testing every 2 weeks, so that's a big improvement. There'll be a 2-hour delay for the groups and at the high school. Ms. Sandell will work that out. There'll be a 2-hour delay throughout the week to maximize our testing atmosphere.
Just for the high school students?
I believe, I don't know, you guys might have something different, right? I know I think it's just the high school. You guys are having a delay, you are as well? Okay, they'll talk about that in a moment.
Okay.
On March 14th, we're going to have a wrestling assembly to celebrate the state championship from Will. And I'm sure Dell will be involved in that as well, and the rest of the wrestlers, but that'll be here in the high school. And I don't know if Tori mentioned this on March 29th, I'll be passing out of the caps and gowns.
Yes, she did.
She did mention that?
Yep.
Okay. And I think there's a lot going on, but Tori covered most of it, so I think that's it. Thank you.
Good evening. I'll try to be brief because they covered a lot of stuff that we are thinking of anyways. Hey, I wanted to give an update on our Valentine's dance from last month. I know it sounds silly. Why would a Board of Education be interested in a middle school dance? That sounds kind of crazy. You should be, because our kids knocked it out of the park on their maturity, their responsibility, their respectful behavior. It was a great time. I had a great time. It was my first Valentine's dance probably since I was in middle school, and it was great. So that's just a way to commend the kids on representing their families and our community very well. Also, we talked last month about an after-school Title I after-school tutoring program. And that is up and running thanks to the efforts of Mr. Carpenter and Mr. Bremen, along with Mr. Streeter and Mrs. Sandell. The whole team kind of came together and said, look, we can get this done. We have the funds to do it. That's paid out of federal funds, so that's not taking away from our general funds. But Mrs. Chack and Mrs. Smith are two of our Title I teachers there in the middle school, and they have taken on this challenge, and they are doing a bang-up job with it. Mr. Streeter and I just visited them this afternoon and saw the kids making parts of speech posters, and the kids were just loving it. They were all hands-on the material. So that's running very smoothly. That's for grades 2 through 8, and they have different times, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday for that. Also, we had 3 middle school kids that were winners in the Patriots Pen Writing Contest. That's sponsored by the Veterans of Foreign Wars. And those students are Brooke Waldeck and Haley Waldeck, who happen to be sisters. And then Skylar Moore was also one of those winners. And I just wanted to recognize our language arts teachers, Mrs. Barkhurst, Mrs. Sarver, and Miss Gregory, for coordinating that and putting that together. Finally, like Mr. Bremen said, regarding our state testing, the grades 3 through 8 teachers and administrators got together and looked at our schedule, and we noticed a gap where we're able to push the test back another week. So we've actually already adjusted our testing schedule. We will not start until April 18th. Originally that was April 11th. And we just did that on purpose to give our teachers and students as much time as possible. So that'll go April 18th through the 28th. Not every single day, that's kind of spaced out, and again, we spaced it out on purpose to maximize the amount of time that they had before the test. Then, like we've said, there's a band concert next Monday evening, there's a choir concert next Wednesday evening, and our 8th graders will be leaving for Washington, D.C. bright and early at 6 a.m. on Thursday morning. So it's going to be quite a week next week, but we're looking forward to it. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good evening again. I'll be pretty quick here too. We have a handful of things going on. Like Mr. Walker mentioned, we did change the testing window, and I have to give credit to our teachers, to our teacher representative over there. They, we as an administrative group got together with our guidance counselors. We have all these different schedules to look at. K-12, and we're trying to figure out, we're looking at the district calendar, and so we're hammering down dates. And the nice thing about having a district that's small and tight like ours is our teachers feel comfortable coming up and just asking us, why did we go with this date? We could get another week if we went like another, if we push this forward, get some extra time to study with the kids, and that's exactly what happened. So I'd like to thank our teachers for looking over kind of our work and just asking us for rationale there. And when they did, I said, I don't really have that great of a rationale. Let me look into that. And so we got back together and found some more time where we can get our students with their teachers and hopefully raise test scores. And that's kind of been a theme lately, as Mr. Grayman talked about. We've been doing a lot of brainstorming about what we can do, and we appreciate, Mr. Walker and I were over there, and he made the comment, I love this board because you guys are supportive of us. I agree wholeheartedly with that. You guys see what's going on with the state. You're not just looking at the bottom line. You see that the metrics change every year, the guidelines change every year, and we'd like to thank you formally for your support, because it can be stressful and daunting for us and the teachers, and it's really nice to have you guys in our corner, understanding that we are trying to work through it, but it's also at the same time very challenging. So keeping in line with that, I held K-3 literacy meetings with my kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade teachers during their planning time, where we just brainstormed about different strategies and things we could be doing to raise scores, looking at how we're getting that K-3 literacy score and what we can do to improve it. We had some really great discussions. Teachers had some really great ideas about what we can do to improve those scores, so that's going to be something we continue to pound, that testing and how we can improve. I had some dates here from our PTO that are coming up. Our father-daughter dance, which is a really nice tradition. I think my daughter might be old enough this year to dance with Dad. So that's April 2nd. Our spring book fair is the week of April 25th. And then our art auction, which I'm the auctioneer for that, will be on the 28th of April. That's a fun event. Mr. DeVise, our new phys ed teacher, as you guys all know, our head football coach too, he's doing a jump rope for Hart, and he's working with Mrs. Rock and the High Flyers. They're going to perform for that. We're going to have an assembly for that, and that's going to be the end of this month, March 30th. I'd like to highlight Miss Porosky. We had that Pride Card winner here this evening, Joe Finney. He's doing an awesome job. The guy's in second grade. He's staying after school to work on reading, and I'd just like to really give her another shout out for staying after. I know she drives an hour one way to get to school, so it's impressive that she's staying after and probably getting home at 6 o'clock at night, and it's all for the student, which I just like Miss Porosky to know how much we appreciate that. And like Mr. Walker said, we went over and checked out the Title I tutors this afternoon to see what they were doing. And that was about, what, 4:30 maybe? And I saw Pam Merck's light was on, and I went in there, and there were 2 students in there working with Pam Merck. Bob Hamilton does after-school tutoring. Several of our teachers do it. And you'd never know it unless you just strolled the building after hours, because they don't want the recognition, they just do it for their students. So it's really impressive to see. Which leads me to my final topic, which is our Teacher of the Month. Our Teacher of the Month for February, which is voted on by the students, or by the staff, was Beth Hoops. Beth Hoops is a tremendous teacher, individual, employee. She's another person that burns the midnight oil. When I have late nights, I can always count on Beth Hoops still being back in her office. She has a monster caseload, meaning she sees, I think, over 60 students. And she does so many tremendous things. We had a student this year who had some anxiety about coming to school. She worked it out with the kid's grandmother to come at, I think, 7:15 and meet her in the parking lot and escort her in before the students came in, so that she could ease her into the day by, going over some schoolwork, playing some games, just getting her in the mood. And after a month, I just couldn't see this student coming into the building in a calm manner because she was so locked up about it. But that's just when she sees an issue and wants to find a solution, she sees it through. And I've seen her do it with several students. And teachers had wonderful things to say about her, so I want to congratulate her on that, and just let her know what an awesome job she does. That's my report for tonight.
Thank you. I really enjoy the principal's updates, because I have children in each building, and not always do their paperwork or this information come home. So I definitely appreciate it. Any thoughts or comments? Nope. We'll move on to item 14, new business. I just want to reiterate about the March 19th Boosters Reverse Raffle to push that out so we can get the support. Also, this Saturday, the Atwater Fire Department is doing a spaghetti dinner. I believe it starts at 5, but don't quote me, it could be 6. And a bake sale. And then I was told, the Atwater Fire Department off Waterloo Road.
Okay.
And then the PTO had the mother-son event, and they said that it turned out really good. Unfortunately, I always miss it because of the Army.
Go home and have a little dance tonight.
I know, right?
There you go. See what they say.
My kids don't want to dance.
No.
They want to go to the basketball games in the
I have
Oh,
videos.
well, Jace.
That's blackmail material. Hold on to
Oh,
that.
I'm holding on.
That's all I have.
Very good.
Anything?
Good.
Nope. Then we will go on to item 15, the consent agenda, superintendent's business.
We have a lot on here this month. Just a couple things I want to point out. One thing, our agreement with Stark State College as part of our College Credit Plus and Kent State University. I'm very happy with both those things. When we look at students who are more and more getting involved with secondary stuff, more and more credit, and now College Credit Plus is taking over, and just very happy to see there's more and more opportunities for college credit for our students. So we're going to keep pushing that and pushing that each and every year. But I'm very pleased to have that. Also, another thing we have our calendar here. I don't see copies, but I'll make sure we get copies emailed to all 5 of you. If you want to take a look at it afterwards, I have it here on file. Okay? Other than that, that's all I have.
Treasurer's business?
I don't have anything unless you have any questions on any of the items that are listed.
I have no questions. Questions?
Nope.
Questions?
Nope.
Can I get a motions to accept the consent, or, yeah, the consent agenda? Roll call?
Motion?
Or
I'll
motion,
motion.
right.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Gump?
Yes.
Fletcher?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes. Motion passes. Motion to recess into executive session for employment, and I don't anticipate anything coming out of it, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Gump?
Yes.
Fletcher?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes. Motion passes. Thanks for the standing room audience.
You guys' calendars right here if you want to take a look at it. And I'll make sure we get it out to you.
Mr. Huth, I appreciate you coming out here every month to this meeting.
Keep us honest, Rick. Keep
That's
us
right.
honest.
You keep us honest. Yes.
I'm gonna go watch the debates tonight, but it seems like everybody's jumping on this common core, and I've heard of
Hey,
this
Mr. Walker.
plan that the President of the United States will totally eliminate it. Is that causing that much problem in schools?
You know, it's become a very hot political item where it's almost